down,
Uh-huh.
and we told her why, And she said, well, okay, if you get sick, we don't have money for a doctor.
Aw.
That kind of thing. We were real. People don't understand what really poor was like back then.
Yeah.
But Dad switched from job to job quite a bit because he had such a temper. He wouldn't take anything off of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was part of him being the smallest of all the brothers. They
Mm-hmm.
probably just teased him something terrible.
And your Granny didn't work, right?
No, she
Not
didn't.
then.
Uh-uh. She didn't. She never worked until we were all grown and away from home, and Hills and Hazel were married.
What do you remember about Chris and I whenever we were born?
When you were born, okay, let me go to Chris first. Phyllis was there.
Mm-hmm.
See, she had Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly's, 2 years older than Chris,
Mm-hmm.
I think. So she knew all about it. See, Phyllis got married first, and then Hazel got married. Phyllis got married as soon as she graduated. Hazel got married before she graduated. She didn't even finish high school. And then I got married. Okay, so they all had kids first. All right, Phyllis was there, and of course I didn't know anything, and Mom never told us anything. When I had my first period, I didn't even tell Mom. I thought I had cancer or some terrible sickness, and
Oh my
I was
gosh.
bleeding from it, and I was embarrassed.
Uh-huh.
Mom just never, I guess her mother never said anything about any of that.
That's just how they...
And of course, we didn't know anything, didn't have tampons then.
Uh-huh.
And the sanitary napkins, like Kotex, I'm not sure we could, I know the first few times I didn't have anything like that. Mom had old rags that she folded up and put in our, and then we rinsed them out, and then she washed them.
Oh, wow.
It was that kind of thing. But anyway, back to with Chris. So Phyllis knew all about it, so she was going to come and stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course she had to bring Kelly. She drove me nuts. Absolutely nuts. She wasn't there right when I came home from the hospital. Chris was born on Good Friday, So I didn't come home until that following Monday, I think it was. So I spent Easter in the hospital. I had hemorrhoids really bad from that, from him. Worse with you because you were bigger. But anyway, I just remember about how scared I was. I didn't know how to do anything. I was afraid to give Chris a bath, but Mom did come up. Not the day that we came home from the hospital, the next day, and to give him his first bath. And it was just, Chris was a hard little baby because he never wanted to go to sleep. Cried. We didn't realize at first that he couldn't drink I didn't want to breastfeed because I had to work.
Okay.
We had bought the house, and we're making payments on it. I was making more money than your dad was. At the time, it wasn't a lot, like maybe $500 more a year than he was making. So I had to go back to work. Anyway, he was doing this projectile vomiting.
Oh my gosh, Chris was?
Yes. I mean, wow. Anyway, finally, Palchef was the pediatrician, and he said it had to be the milk, that what other formula we were given that was popular at the time. So I can't remember what we had to buy for him. It was in kind of metal cans. It started with the B, I remember that, and then that solved that. But he cried a lot, did not want to go to bed. He would stand in his bed and jerk so much crying it would actually move the bed.
I remember you telling that story.
Okay, then, see, I got pregnant practically right away. That was not my fault. That was Neil's fault. It was.
You weren't planning on it, on having another one so quickly?
No. Good grief, no. And that's one reason the doctor said I couldn't have, Neil had to have, if we didn't want any more kids. Neil, I could not have my tubes tied Neil had to do